guys, welcome back. So today I am going to be showing you all of my animals. So there's a lot, so I anticipate that this video is going to actually be pretty long. Usually what I do for the All My Pet Tag videos is I show a very short clip of each animal, play some music, and then just write the animal's name on the screen. But I've been getting asked a lot to actually go over each animal and talk about them, and I do in different videos and talk about them individually. But today I'm actually going to briefly go over each one and tell you a little bit about them. Now, of course, before we get started, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I do make animal videos every week. So first I thought I would introduce you to the horses. So there's two horses that you're going to see a lot of in my videos, and the first one is this cute little pony. His name is Shakespeare, and he's actually more of a family horse. And he's for my niece and nephew to ride, and so he's just really cute and tiny and a really good kid's horse. But I do actually ride him a lot myself since I practically am the size of a kid. But I'm introducing you to Shakespeare because you probably will see him on this channel. And then, of course, I do have my own horse, Rainbow. I've had her for, I think it's 18 years now that I've had Rainbow. So she's back here, and I just have to kind of look around and find her. And it's winter right now, so everything's dead. But this is actually really pretty during the summer. Everything's really green. And there's a lot of sunflowers and everything, but right now it's just all kind of brown. So she's around here somewhere. There she is. So she's coming up. Rainbow is a Mustang, and she's really not too much bigger than Shakespeare, really. She's maybe about 14 hands at the most. And in total, we usually have about 8 horses here. So none of these horses are actually alone. I get asked about that a lot. Now, if you want to know more about Rainbow, definitely check out our Q&A video. I did a whole video just about her, answering your guys' questions. Now, up next are my dogs. This is Caspian, my service dog. And if you want to know more about service dogs or why I have them, I have a whole playlist on that. He's just an amazing dog. He's so good at being a service dog. He's, went through a lot of training, of course, and everything for that. And he's just such an amazing dog. And he's a white German Shepherd. And then, of course, I also have several corgis. So I'm actually going to show you all of the corgis that I had this year just because they're in so many of my videos and they were just so impacting to my life, basically. I just love each and every one of them. But first, I'm going to show you the ones that actually are mine. So I have Clark, and he is a blue merle corgi. Now, he is a cardigan Pembroke Welsh corgi. So he's 50% cardigan and 50% Pembroke. This is what you call a designer breed, and they are very popular right now. Now, my other corgi is Luna, and she is 100% Pembroke. She is a Pembroke Welsh corgi, and she's a little bit thin in these clips because she did have 10 puppies, 9 surviving. And so that was pretty hard on her. We didn't expect her to have such a large litter. I'm not a breeder. This is actually the only litter that I'm going to be having. I wanted to have one litter of corgi puppies, all of which I rehome to friends and family, just because we all love corgis so much. Now, a lot of times people think that she is not a Pembroke Welsh corgi because she has a tail. Now, just remember that almost all Pembrokes, about 95% of Pembroke Welsh corgis are born with tails, but the tail is cut off a few days after birth. Now, we do not choose to do this to our dogs. We do not do any cosmetic surgeries. So Luna was able to keep her tail, and so did all of her puppies. So don't ever let anybody tell you that Pembrokes are born without tails. That's actually very rare. And most of the time when they do have a natural dock, it's actually just a shorter tail, and part of it does end up getting cut off. Now, we were very blessed to have 9 surviving puppies. I want to introduce you guys to each one, but I am going to start off with the ones that we are keeping. We're keeping 3 of them, and then the rest are rehomed to family and friends. So this is them at 5 weeks old. This puppy is Bruce, and he is a red merle corgi. So he has blue eyes. He actually has multicolored eyes. If you are able to see him up close, the tops of his eyes are brown. This is Rowan, and he is what we call a brindle tri-corgi. So this means that he is mostly black, but that his face is that of a brindle corgi, which, in case you're not familiar with what a brindle is, it just kind of means that they have like brown stripes on black. And Rowan was the runt of the litter. Up next we have Daisy, and Daisy is a tan-point blue merle corgi. So that means that her face is red and the rest of her body is a blue merle. This here is Sadie, and Sadie is a tri-corgi, so that means that she is black, brown, and white. This is Sparky, and I believe that he is a sable corgi, and basically when he's an adult he is going to look mostly red. This is Zoe, and she is a brindle corgi, so that basically means that she's dark with brown stripes. This is Thor, and he is a blue merle corgi, but he doesn't have blue eyes, he actually has brown eyes, and I think it makes him look really pretty. This is Ella, and she is a brindle corgi, so basically she's dark with brown stripes. This is Darcy, and he is a black and white corgi. As you might notice, the cardigan colors were very dominant in this litter. Next, I'm going to be introducing you to my reptiles. So this first one is a Halmahera gecko, and I hope that I'm pronouncing that right. It kind of looks like a lychee, but it actually isn't. It's not ever going to get nearly as big as the lychee. And her name is Nova. Next up, we have my crested geckos. Now, surprisingly, I actually have 2 male crested geckos living together. This isn't recommended, and I would not advise anybody to do it. However, it does seem to actually work out really well for us. And this is Merlin, he's the dark one, and Calvin is the lighter one. And they've been living together for a couple of years, and they do really well together. The next gecko is my giant day gecko. His name is Ringo, and I actually changed his name recently, so you might have seen him as a different name in some of my all my pet tags, but I just decided that I wanted to change his name, and it's not like a dog. He does not know his name, so I was the only one that it was going to affect. This is a male leopard gecko named Nico. I also have 2 bearded dragons. One actually belongs to my husband, and her name is Jar, and she is a pretty small bearded dragon. My other bearded dragon, his name is Regal, and he's actually pretty massive, and he's an awesome bearded dragon that I can often take out and take places with me. Pet-friendly places, of course. And then lastly, I also have a ball python. This is a banana ball python, and his name is Jasper. I've had him for a couple of years now. I got him when he was a baby, and he did not do good with handling when he was a baby, but as he has aged, he has actually gotten a lot better about being handled. And no, Jasper does not have mites, those are freckles. And then next, I almost forgot one reptile. This one's actually going to be introduced with my rabbits. So this is Snow, my New Zealand white rabbit, and this other rabbit is Belle, and she is a Holland Lop rabbit. And they live together with Hank, the silicata tortoise. Next, for some other small animals, I have 2 prairie dogs. Their names are Theodore and Pepper. And they live outside in a run where they're able to dig tunnels and move around in the dirt. And they're just happy little prairie dogs, as you can see, even a little chubby. And then I also have 3 chinchillas. This is Cinder, and I think she's called a velvet chinchilla. She's kind of brown, a little bit of gray, but mostly brown. I feel like she's more brown than she looks in this video. It might be the lighting. And then this is Flint, and she is a very, very light gray chinchilla. I think it's called a mosaic. The color patterns really aren't too important to me, so sometimes I kind of forget exactly what they're called. And then I also have Ivory, and he is a white chinchilla. I have 2 guinea pigs, and their names are Cupcake and Twinkie. Twinkie is this first one, and then Cupcake is the one that's a little bit bigger. They actually do look very similar, but they're actually not at all related. Now I also have 2 fish tanks. One is a 60-gallon fish tank and has some pretty large plecos, and I also have some glowfish in there and a few little other fish. And one of the fish that lives in this large tank is a ghost knife fish. Then I also have a Fluval Flex 15-gallon tank, and that is a planted aquarium. And it has several different fish, guppies, neon tetras, a betta, and then just some shrimp, as well as some snails and stuff like that. I also have 3 gerbils, and their names are Snap, Crackle, and Pop. Next, I'm going to introduce you to my parrots, which you've probably been hearing in the background of this video since they're singing while I record. This is Barry. He is a rose-breasted cockatoo, or galah if you live in Australia. Here in America, we usually refer to them as a rose-breasted cockatoo, but it's all the same. And in fact, there's a couple of other names that this species is also referred to by, but they are in the cockatoo family, so it's a parrot. And then I also have 2 green-cheeked conures, Kiro, which is a normal green-cheeked conure, and then Evan, which is a pineapple green-cheeked conure. So these are actually the same species, but Evan is the result of captive breeding, and then Kiro would be what you would find naturally in the wild. And then I also have a cockatiel, and her name is Remi. And then I also have 3 parakeets, or budgies, just depending on where you're from, what they're called. Here in America, we usually refer to these birds as parakeets, even though there's actually a whole subspecies of parrot that are parakeets, but I don't know why, it just is a term that has stuck in America. And they are Sky, the blue one, Bonita, the yellow one, and Monet, the really colorful one. And then I also have some canaries and finches as well. And I just refer to them as the Funky Bunch. Next up are my 2 cats. This is Portia. He is a Lynx Point Siamese cat, and he's a pretty big cat, as you can see. He is such a sweetheart, and it's actually more like having another dog than an actual cat. And then I also have Lily, a calico cat, and she is a ragdoll mix. Both of my cats were rescues. And this is Evy, my Chihuahua. She's also a rescue, and you can learn more about her story in my adoption video. Next we have Petunia. Petunia is a Juliana pig, that's her breed. They can also be referred to as teacup pigs or mini pigs. Often people think that teacup pigs are very, very tiny, but they're really not that small. They are small pigs compared to what a normal size pig actually looks like. So she is actually a very, very small pig, but maybe not the expectation that a lot of people have. Next, I have 2 male hedgehogs, and they are, of course, not kept in the same cage. They each have their own cage. The first one is Quill, and then the other hedgehog I have is Wilbur, and he's actually an albino hedgehog. I also have 2 sugar gliders, Thea and Beastie. And I have a lot of care information on sugar gliders, and you can check that out in the sugar glider playlist. Next, I have 2 elderly rats. They're actually going to be 3 years old this year. The first one is Stella, and she is an albino rat. And then there's also Joan. And I believe that these 2 are from the same litter, so they should be really the exact same age. This is my alpaca herd that I'm going to be introducing you guys to. So I have several alpacas and llamas. There are 12 alpacas and then 3 llamas. There's also several goats and some little horses. So I'm going to be introducing you guys to all of them. This white creamy alpaca right here is named Kelly. Now I actually got into alpacas because I ended up rescuing some. She's one of the ones that I rescued. As well as this one back here with the white on her face. That is Vivian. And she's pretty old now. The one next to her that's super brown and fluffy is Audrey, and she's also one of the first rescues. As well as Hattie, who is covered in hay. The black alpaca that's just covered in hay right now. And then some of the other alpacas that I have acquired over time is Plata, the silver one back here. Plata actually means silver in Spanish, and she is one of my only animals that is not from the United States. She's from Peru. Now I also have 3 llamas. They're not the same as alpacas, and here's one. She's Mesquite. She's my first llama, actually. And then back here are 2 baby alpacas. This is Rose up front. She's really not too friendly. And then this one over here is Camilo, and he's a boy. He's actually very, very friendly. He's super sweet and just sometimes will come up to you and say hi. Both, you know, treated the same, but they're just very, very different personalities. Now, this big one that just came up is Storm, and he's a llama. If you do want to know the difference between llamas and alpacas, I did actually make a video about that. The Storm is a baby llama, and he's actually the same age as the other two. But as you can tell, he is a lot bigger. Now, he's what you call a Suri llama, and he's actually the only Suri llama or alpaca that I have. All the others are Wakaya. Oh, and there is Camilo. He's so sweet. And then I also have a bunch of goats living in here, so let me introduce you to them while we're at it. This is Shiva. He's one of my favorite little goats. He's so awesome. I take him hiking and everything. He's really, really cool. It's like having a weird dog. And there's also two horses here. So this is Pearl. You know, her full name is actually Black Pearl. And she is a miniature horse. A lot of people refer to these as ponies, but they are actually not ponies. These horses are a lot smaller than ponies. And next to her here is Feather. She's a little bit taller, but she is still a miniature horse. And she's what you call a medicine hat. She has those markings on her ears and chest that make her a medicine hat. And it's kind of like a Native American legend. Now I also have another llama, of course, Storm's mother. This is Willow. When I purchased Willow, she had actually had Storm, so I got the two together. And she is a really sweet llama. I have the llamas actually for protection for my herd because the alpacas are very, very delicate animals and stray dogs will come in and kill them. So the llamas actually protect the alpacas and they don't let anything hurt them. Now over here are a few more of the goats. This is Maybelle, the black and white one, and her mother Buttercup standing next to her. Over here is Bailey, and she's another one of my goats, and she actually gave birth to 3 babies this year, whereas Buttercup only had 1. Bailey actually had 3. This is Elsa. This is one of Bailey's little babies. And then back here is Panda. She's the black and white goat, and she's one of Bailey's kiddos. Over here on this side is another one of Bailey's kids, and her name is Penny, and through unfortunate circumstances involving someone else's goat, she actually gave us 2 surprises on Christmas Day. So we have 2 super cute little baby goats over here. But I guess you can't say it was a bad surprise because baby goats are so adorable. So now coming over back to the alpacas to finish introducing them to you. Let's see, which ones haven't you met yet? This is Peekaboo, and she's the peachy colored one, and she's actually Rose's mom. And then this one over here is Mocha with the crazy hair. She's the kind of coffee colored brown alpaca, and she's super, super tall for an alpaca because normally these guys are, as you can see, they're pretty small. She's the tallest one that I have. And then this dark brown one over here, her name is Amelia, and she's kind of a handicapped alpaca. She has some problems with her back legs where she can't get them completely straight. And so she walks very strange most of the time, but she's a super happy alpaca that gets around just fine, and we are happy to provide her with a home. It makes shearing her a little bit difficult. We shear them once a year in the spring, and with her, we make sure that she is completely comfortable while being sheared so that she does not have any problems with her legs. She has been looked at by several different vets for this issue. We don't really have an exact diagnosis for it, but at the moment she is not in pain and she gets around just fine. So we're going to keep her happy and comfortable as long as we can, but putting her down is always an option if she does not have a good quality of life. She's actually only middle-aged for an alpaca, and we're hoping that she will live a full and happy life. This alpaca over here is named Clarissa, and sometimes I have to keep her separated from the rest of the herd depending on how she behaves. Sometimes she gets a little bit too aggressive with the others, but we're working on getting her integrated into the herd so that she doesn't have to be moved around. And then of course we also have Spinnaker, and Spinnaker is our only mature male, so he does live by himself at the moment, but he's gonna have some buddies in the future once Camilo and Storm are moved away from their moms. And he is pretty skinny and might look kind of dirty right now, but Spinnaker is actually a ribbon winner. And so yeah, that's my alpaca and llama herd with, you know, some goats and horses as well. Now I do have 2 other boy goats, and it is a Billy named Blue and his companion, a wether named Wesley. Now I also have tons and tons of free-range birds that I don't really even keep a count on. It's about 20 guineas, 20 to 30 chickens, 6 ducks, a goose, lots of peacocks, also a flock of homing pigeons that we also keep around. All of these birds are free range, but I do feed them every day. And then here's a quick tribute to some of the animals that I lost in 2017. First, I would like to mention Remi Cockatiel, the rainforest opossum, who passed away from old age this year. Peach, the hamster, I have no idea how old he was since he was an older rescue that I got. Ira the ferret, I also don't know exactly how old Ira was. He was old when I got him. Isabella, the giant day gecko, she passed away after having complications with laying eggs. Some reptiles actually lay eggs no matter what, kind of like chickens, even if they aren't bred, and that can really take a toll on the body. And then Athena, the veiled chameleon, who passed away from old age this year. I had her since she was a baby. And Laura the rat also passed away this year from cancer. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you really enjoyed meeting all of my pets. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks, bye!